Hello everyone, my name is Lorthorn and welcome to a little mod showcase for Minecraft Dragon Survival. Dragons are a pretty iconic creature in almost any setting, and that stays true with Minecraft, given that the final boss of the game is herself a dragon, and there's many mods which add various different kinds of dragons to the game, the most famous among them being Ice and Fire, which adds excellent dragons of very terrifying power to your game, which can be ridden or fought. However, Dragon Survival takes a very different approach to adding dragons to the game of Minecraft, which I think is a very unique and interesting way of doing it. As the name implies, there's dragons that are trying to survive. However, you are playing these dragons that are surviving, and it is a take of fundamentally changing the gameplay of Minecraft, while not breaking it entirely. Basically what this mod does is instead of playing as Steve, a squishy human, you get to play as a dragon and survive as said dragon in the world of Minecraft and experience the different perspective of playing the game as a monster, but you are not overpowered while being this dragon, which is very different than how a lot of mods would handle doing this. Instead of being an all-powerful terror that becomes even more powerful throughout the mod, it starts you as a fairly weak dragon that is in fact weaker than a normal human, that then progresses into a being that is about twice as strong as Steve, which is just a much better way of handling it than what you'd expect. And it's this whole process you have to go through of surviving while you're a dragon. The dragon options it gives you are fire, water, and poison. Red, green, and blue, another way of looking at, or as they are called, cave dragons, forest dragons, and sea dragons. The sea dragon changes the game the most as you go from being a land-dwelling creature in normal Minecraft to literally having to live in the oceans. And the cave dragon is rather opposite of the ocean dragon, absolutely hating water and not being able to dwell in it. Well, the poison dragon, or forest dragon, green dragon, what have you, can go both into the ocean and the overworld, as well as caves. However, it is afraid of the dark and adds yet another aspect to darkness actually being the bane of your existence when you're a forest dragon, and them having some sort of weird claustrophobia. From the get-go, the dragons look brilliant. I really like their design, and they have the ability to grow bigger, which I will get into when I do a more further depth look at how the mod runs. I'd say this mod is really solid, and let's get into the details of why I think it's such a good mod. So the Dragon Survival mod has a relatively simple mechanic for getting started. I used to think is rather broken, but after doing a little bit more research, it turned out to be quite okay. That is one of the main issues I have with Dragon Survival, is their wiki is a nightmare to navigate, and they have no in-game documentation besides the small snippets they give you while you're in dragon form. So to get started off with this mod, quite literally have to do a ton of mining. The main and new element that has been added to the game is Elder Dragon Dust, and this can be found via killing creatures or mining for ores. It seems to be pretty random chance. You can get a bunch from redstone, you can get nothing from diamond, or you can get a whole bunch for diamond and several from emeralds, and then maybe a few clumps from maybe a few clumps from coal. Coal does seem to have slightly less yield, and there's probably a calculation which is the rare ores are better, but nothing definitive about it, and just mining ores you'll eventually get dust. But whatever the case may be, you need to mine this dust until you get at least 9 of it. Now why is this dust so important? Well, it's the fundamental resource of the mod, as I said, and it lets you craft Elder Dragon Bone. And it's basically the bigger version resource that you collect together from the Elder Dragon Dust. Now, the 9 of it together creates the Elder Dragon Bone, and the Elder Dragon Bone, plus almost any basic block in the game, gives you the Stone Dragon Altar, which is the game's starting block, which allows you to become a dragon. As you can see here, there is quite a few flavors you can go for, so basically, no matter what biome you start in, you're probably going to be able to make yourself one of these Stone Dragon Altars. Now, besides making you a dragon altar, the dragon's bone's main use is making dragon heart shards. And these shards make up basically everything else that you're going to need in the mod. Like the dragon nests, which is the dragon's equivalent of a bed, and the greater dragon heart pieces, which is how you level up. So yes, dragon nests are a very important thing to get, so go mine or kill some creatures and get yourself some sweet, sweet dust. Now, before we go ahead and become a dragon, I'd like to discuss a few of the decorative blocks of this mod. Mainly the knight helmets, which are little skulls, I guess, like the equivalent of Skeletor or Creeper skulls, which can be found from knights, which are a mob added to this game. Now, there are more mobs than just knights added, but they don't offer you their skulls. And let's go look at them now. So new mobs that are added include the magical predator, which is a creature that teleports to hunt you. They're actually quite awful. There is the Night Hound, which is a new doggo, which accompanies hunters and knights about. These fellows, the Armored Knight, the Hunter, and the Squire, all being people who hate dragons and want to kill them. And there's the slightly more friendly extra mobs that were added, which are the princesses and the princes, which are sought-after prizes for dragons. The princesses and prince, well, the princesses at the least can be traded with for various stuff. They can give you gold for flowers, whereas the knights and the prince and all the hunters are rather unfriendly lot who can't be traded with. And I think these are just to add a little bit of variety to the game and sort of the dragon idea of, oh, let's go steal a princess, oh no, there's a knight attacking me, which is kind of fun. Now, the knight is actually really well designed. I think he's one of my favorite models in a mob ever, because he's a testificate, even though he's a knife. So he's got the dongle nose hanging out of his helmet, wrapped up in chainmail or something, and it just looks really good. Right, process of becoming a dragon. All that is required is the stone altar and a decision. You place down the stone altar, and it gives you the choice of being the cave dragon, the forest dragon, or the ocean dragon, or being a human. They represent them actually quite nicely with the tools above their heads. So basically what this means is a human can use all the tools, but they aren't specialized in any. Whereas the sea dragon is a master of the shovel, the forest dragon is master of axe, and the cave dragon is a master of the pickaxe. And these tools all represent the fundamental of their design. The forest dragon being a woodsman who likes to go about in the forest, cutting down trees and be in open spaces. The cave dragon likes to mine, stay in his caves, and not really leave to the surface. And the sea dragon likes to expand his ocean territory, digging out the sand and dirt without much worry for infrastructure and more expansion. And this also lets you know their weaknesses and features, which is kind of fun. So getting into each dragon and what they do from the initial read. The cave dragon is a fire-resistant, pickaxe-clawed, flame magic using, cave-dwelling, water-hating, golden apple, charred meat snarfling beast, as well as eating, well, all the other various kinds of burnt food and coal. The forest dragon is a creature that can fall from greater heights, likes cutting down trees, and uses a lot of poison in his quiet home inside the forest, where his weakness is the darkness of caves, and he eats basically raw meat and fruit, like sweet berries. The water dragon is kind of different than the other two, or the sea dragon. She very much enjoys being underwater, breathes underwater, has shovel claws, is a lightning mage, and can move fast in the water, but is rather terrible on the land and dries out, and they eat fish, as well as the golden apples, and apparently honey. And the human, well, they can do anything. They can eat anything, do anything. Don't mess with the humies. So starting off, we are going to select the fire dragon. And choosing a dragon is deep inside you. The red hot lava begins to roar. You have become a cave dragon, or fire dragon. And you're this tiny, adorable little dragonling who can hop and looks really good. And this is one of the first problems you will see, is if you turn your head around, the model doesn't completely follow. And so you can, I mean, dragons, he's turning his head around looking, but the execution of it isn't great, although it's kind of trying to be practical. I just, not the biggest fan of that. And so that's why I sort of like playing the dragon in this mode, but that's not always the best. Now, fear not if you decide you do not want to be the cave dragon immediately after selecting it. as you can actually switch freely in between each dragon type and become the forest dragon if you like, or decide to become the water dragon. However, switching between them does de-level your progress as a dragon. And your progress of a dragon comes from eating the dragon hearts. These things. So, you nom them to become slightly bigger and more powerful, and each has their own potential and further use. To start off with, as a little baby dragon, you nom the little dragon heart shards, which will get you all the way up to being adolescent dragon, and it actually changes your color and sort of gives you that Pokemon evolution scaling of slightly more serious look. And of course you're bigger, but they're no longer good enough, and so you need to go to the next variety of heart, which is the weak dragon heart instead of the dragon heart shard. But this thing requires a little bit more of intensive crafting. The main new object for you will be the charged coal, which is made with redstone and charcoal coal. Pretty easy to craft and get, and then it's just lapis and gold, which are all easily mined. Although the green dragon doesn't like mining them, and the ocean dragon finds it hard to go out of the water. So if you're not planning to play a cave dragon, then I recommend doing most of your mining before you turn into your dragon form, as the two non-cave dragon dragons have a great difficulty in mining. So eating the weak heart will scale you up into a adult dragon, but now you need the elder dragon heart, or the full proper heart, which is when another issue I find of this mod comes into play, which is, well, diamonds are easy enough but sort of endgamey material, which feel expensive to obtain, and gold you can gain, and also just needing to go through all the work of getting the weakened dragon heart to craft the elder dragon heart, you also require netherite scrap, 2 of them. An incredibly difficult and frustrating process to achieve. It's very, very expensive to get to the elder dragon form, although it is quite powerful, so I guess it's kind of fair, but still, I don't like locking things behind random chance mining for netherite, which is literally a process that can take tens of hours, which goes against usually what I enjoy in my game. This scales you up to being a really big boy, and it just gives you more hearts, so it's not entirely necessary as you're pretty powerful without it, but if you want to be the most dragonist of the dragonists, then you require it. A nice little detail, which I actually didn't notice right away. When you attack as a dragon, just doing air attack, they bite, but when you mine, they actually use their paw to dig at whatever surface they're going after. Small touches like these make mods really good. The bane of that, though, is how they hold items, which is hovering at their shoulder. This is just a byproduct of, I think, how Minecraft works and trying to incorporate both first person and third person outside perspective, but does end up giving the dragon these silly little hovering shoulder blocks, which doesn't work for me. Now, putting that minor detail aside, you're a dragon now. You're a fire dragon. What does the fire dragon entail? Well, fire dragons like living in caves and mining in caves, and they have their own setup and home, as well as their own fire powers. I'm first going to look at the setups, homes, and diets of each dragon, then I'm going to look at their gear and magic, which are all quite cool. The diet of the cave dragon primarily is coal. They dig it up quite easily with their claws, and happen to get elder dragon parts at the same time, and it is cave dragon food, so if your dragon is hungry, it can eat it. But they also eat a variety of other things, like charcoal, charred coal, which is slightly better dragon food, which incorporates redstone into it, so if you need to use redstone, it's that. They have their alternative food, so if you take some cooked steak and overcook it, it will burn relatively fast into charred meat, which is cave dragon food, and they can do this with also baked potatoes, soup, and cooked fish. And they also have their ultimate charged soup, food that gives cave dragons protection from water damage, so it's a very nice thing for them to have. And while it does require lava to cook, you can get a good amount of it for using 3 lava buckets, and lava is ever abundant for a cave dragon. The cave dragon also has his own little treat he can make, which is by combining elder dragon dust with some cooked food, you can craft cave dragon treat, an item which is not only food for a cave dragon, but also fully restores their magic. The cave dragon bed starts out small and is crafted with nether quartz obsidian, and dragon hearts on top. Now the bigger beds are actually not craftable, but that's because your bed or nest grows with you as you're a dragon. So now that I am the biggest of dragons, I need the biggest of dragon beds. I would recommend placing your bed before you decide to eat a whole bunch of dragon hearts to become big, because there's a few weird interactions and bugs with not letting your bed recognize you at your small size and grow to full, and then you will be bedless. The big bed can be slept in if it's nighttime. You can choose to pick the bed up, you can set regen the bed, and you can put elder dragon bones inside the bed to give it more charge. Sleeping in the bed if it is nighttime will make you curl up with it as kind of your hidey home, hidey hole. The cave dragon enjoys mining and can equip pickaxes through the dragon inventory menu. The pickaxes will attach to his claws, and so the different types will give you different kind of claws, and we'll look at that further, but this just increases his mine speed. It is affected by durability and enchantments, as well as just getting a flat boost over human. So it is additive for the pickaxes upon his claws. All other tools that you can pick to him, which are used with his claws, will not get a speed boost for the cave dragon. One of the main homes or nice hanging spots for a cave dragon is actually surprisingly the nether, a usually hostile place for a dragon to go to, but for the cave dragon is quite a pleasant spot. Given that he is immune to not only fire, but also lava, a recent change to him, which before he could not dwell in lava, now he can freely go about in lava, makes the cave dragon very at home in the nether. Although he will have some troubles finding food here, he can always nip back to the overworld and grab himself some coal, or perhaps a little sheep. The cave dragon kind of does well in caves, but still suffers from the unfortunate lack of night vision or cave vision. Therefore, being in the darkness for a cave dragon can be rather irritating. And on top of that, the cave dragon is a big sucker, meaning that he's actually taller than 2 blocks when at max size, and has to dig out rather large spaces to fit through, those being 3 high. But there is doors for dragons, worry not. And dragons can have their houses sealed up, which is, I think, a nice side feature. Not worth dwelling on for too long, but there are dragon doors, which are big doors for dragons, and there are dragon-specific type doors, as well as there just being a nice variety of them, being a Skyrim dragon door. Who would have thought someone was influenced by Skyrim when dealing with dragons? And just some extra decorative doors like the Gothic door and the Crimson door. The dragon-specific type doors can only be opened by dragons of that kind. So we can open up the cave dragon doors, and we can open up the Skyrim iron doors. But as a cave dragon, we cannot open or affect the Cthulhu water dragon doors, nor the flower-loving forest dragon doors. Now I must say, I actually love their design. It's really, really well executed. They look great. The doors of the alternate times, like the Gothic doors, are quite nice. It's actually just really fun, extra new kinds of doors to add to the game, which I very much appreciate. In stark contrast to the cave-dwelling cave dragon, the forest dragon likes to live in open spaces. He starts out small and adorable, like all the dragons, but when consuming hearts of the elder dragon, grows into a lighter shaded fellow that then becomes all finned and very reminiscent of the D&D's green dragon, including the orange fins, which can be found in some of the concept art of the green dragon. And it's overall a nice design, although I've never been fond of sideburns on my dragons, but they're working with squares. I feel like the forest dragon is definitely the derpiest of the dragon family, but it's still a nice look, and I do think it fits well into Minecraft. The green dragon prefers cutting down trees and building lofts in the forest, and gets stressed out when it's too dark. So he gets these little sunlight dots, which literally make him start to starve and suffer from stress, which keeps affecting him even when he is broken out of the darkness, and will basically cause him to starve and be weaker than normal. stress is not good for a dragon. The cave dragon bed is actually really nice looking at the max level. It starts off as kind of this little forest pad and turns into a slightly bigger forest bowl. But its final form has a nice little dragon head and these sick little lily pads and water coming out of the mouth, sort of giving him the in-between perspective of the two. And is quite movable like the other dragon beds, and will be your spawned or pseudo bed. And it's a bright new sunny day for our forest dragon who likes gambling about the forest, cutting down trees, and prefers to eat raw meats, hunting forest food, or perhaps gathering scrumptious sweet berries. And part of his ability is he's actually immune to the pain that others would take when standing on berry bushes, making it so you could fill his domain with the bushes and be very annoying to all trespassers, where he's just a little bit slower. The forest dragon is a gameplay based around living in the woods and hunting forest food in open fields or the woods, either or, and taking the occasional dip in the water while avoiding entering any caves, sort of being able to do the things of both worlds. Now, as I believe I said at one point earlier, cave dragons die from being in the water. The forest dragon has no problems chilling in a swamp, an ocean, a pond, or on the dry land. I will say though that the forest dragon is the least favorite for me among the dragons. The cave dragon being my favorite and the ocean dragon being in the middle. The ocean dragon starts off, like all the other dragons, being kind of small and pitiful, and as you can see, he's got these little blue water darts, which show how dry he is, so he has to get extra wet by going in the water. But he can just chill indefinitely if he's submerged. He also swims really fast and has this very unique swimming animation, quite fluid. Really like it. It's really well done. It's a good addition to him, and it's just another one of those nice details of giving that alternative swimming animation for him. Scaling up at the adult stage, he gets lighter in color and does get the little frills on his head, but he also gets these frills on his neck, which I think look really splendid, and his tail gets slightly bigger. As you get him to his final change in color, his horns change, the frills on his stomach get more pronounced, the frills on his back and head get more pronounced, and his tail gets bigger. And at full size, he's big like the rest of them. His gameplay features mainly hunting little fish in the water, although they can be kind of hard to target, these little suckers. But you just nuke them out of existence and you can bite them. And you can swim rather obscenely fast as him. And then also while you're underwater, he's better at digging than normal, although he still suffers from the underwater digging penalty that everything suffers from. She can sort of just hop out of the water and dig quickly to expand the size of their pond, and then hop back in and have a nice chill time. And, well, it's very, very gameplay changing compared to all the other dragons. This mod actually lends very nice to multiplayer, and even has an integrated riding system, I believe, where humans can sit on dragons' backs and ride about. The armor and gears of dragons, as well as their magic, are one of their biggest and best features, as having your gameplay change, while fun and a different challenge, is very, very well backed up with just appearance of the armor and gear they can get, as well as the dragon's spells and magics. The ocean dragon prefers to have shovels, and this is what gives it its claws. And just a little cool detail, as you can see, it's diamond there, but if we switch to the shovel of its fundamental, then it'll get iron claws. And this is true for all the dragons, of what their claw type will be is based on their fundamental aspect. And their teeth are affected by the weapons you equip, so they get derpy little front teeth, which get the item attached to them. And you can sort of change the colors. You can get gold-toothed dragon or netherite-toothed dragon, whatever you prefer. You can also mess around with their shovels. But their armor is also so uniquely handled. It's actually rather, well, it's rather inspired, honestly, the way of handling it. Their leather armor gives this very nice sort of, I don't know, solid leather gear to the dragon. It's just so good. I really like the leather gear. And the armor's design stays relatively consistent across the dragon types, accounting for their different outer appearances. And it's not just, oh, all of it will be a different texture. The chain armor is going to be a slightly different helmet. It's going to handle slightly differently on their body. It's going to change the looks, give these little plates, and have its own design. Then the iron sort of goes for the hardcore dark metal aspect of fully arming up a dragon, which looks really, really nice. As you can see again, because we switched the dragon types, his claws are now all diamondy, and he's got this completely different looking aesthetic to him. The gold armor looks incredibly regal and adds a little sword and to the front shoulder and these little wings to the back hip plate. And I love the gold armor's design, whereas the diamond armor sort of goes for this heavy armor aesthetic of diamond plating on top of the metal, which again is a very neat and cool approach. And finally, the netherite armor makes the dragons look incredibly hardcore and bulky when fully armored up, sort of giving them this dark metal debris aspect and look to them. It really, really complements the ocean dragon's look, giving this, I don't know, dark metal with the light blue color, which is very cool. Now, besides the armor and gear and random abilities, dragons also have magic. Now, magic is based on several factors. One of these factors is your level, and the other is how you choose to level your magic. Dragons actually have an ability tab in which they can upgrade their abilities as well as increase the strength of their passives, and it works in a rather interesting, unique system, which, unfortunately, while is very cool, is also very frustrating. See, a dragon's strength is based on its level, but when you spend these levels in to increase these abilities, it then weakens their other levels, and it's this very weird balancing act for a dragon. Now, you can actually switch back and forth in between choosing power things up, but before any of that, let's go through what these tables means. So on the right here is the dragon's passives, on the left here is the dragon's actives, in the middle here is what things you can level up in the dragon, and up top is the upgrades the dragon receives to these spells over here, as they are all sort of basic low level right now. I'm only at level 17. So these abilities do not level up. These ones do level up via you having levels, and these ones level up by you putting points into them, but by leveling these up, you decrease the level of these. So if you increase the level of your leveling passives, you decrease the level of your actives, and your fundamental passives are never affected. So, the fundamental passives of the sea dragon is he is very good at digging with his claws. Sea dragons can deal increased damage and dig loose blocks with tools. They get stronger as they age, and this is claws and teeth. All dragons have it. Then the dragon has the sea dragon innate passive, which is it determines their diet and they can breathe on water. And then they have their weakness, which is thin-skinned. So sun and dryness make these dragons unhappy, so they want to be in the sea, or they want to be in rain, snow, or have water bottles to drink while they go about. The dragon's active abilities are Storm Breath, Ball Lightning, Soul Retrieval, and Night Vision. As you cycle through these menus, you press the hotkeys that are set, but at base they are set to R and F, and to cast the ability, C. However, you can change these options by going to controls, scrolling down to Dragon Survival and setting them for yourself. Mana is also determined by your level and also the upgrade passive, and it's how you cast spells. Is these little orbs above my passive abilities. The sea dragon's lightning breath, or storm breath, makes him go blah, and it breathes out lightning. If you run out of mana, which I did there, it starts draining your levels. But his lightning breath is oh so useful for hunting the fishies. My goodness. The more XP you have as a dragon, the more mana you will have, and the stronger your spells will be. The ball lightning spell is very short-ranged, but releases this AoE sort of lightning blast the dragon can go about, although it uses up basically all their mana. The sea dragon actually doesn't regen mana well on the land, so it has to be in the ocean, but this helps him regen relatively fast. His soul extractor ability cannot be used while in the water because it thinks you're flying, which is kind of annoying. And he sort of does this little meditation thing, and this gives him a buff all around him, which means anything that was caught by that, if he kills it, is going to give extra XP and get wrecked. And his final ability gives him, bam, night vision for the deep oceans and also night as well. And he's the only one that gets night vision for some reason. This ball lightning is sort of AoE, everything's dead. The abilities you can level up here, all dragons have the ability to increase their magic level. So this gives them more mana. So current amount of mana, and this basically just increases it so your level will also decrease. And then it decreases the amount of mana. It's this whole weird thing. It also takes up a ton of their XP, but when it's at level 10, it gives you a ton of extra mana. The dragons' sea athletics gives them more speed while they're in the water. So doing this will give me super speed in the water, speed 3. And so now, if I'm swimming, I go pretty fast. Pretty fast. Leveling up the water ability for the dragon actually looks really cool when it fills up and you start filling the whole thing with swirling fiery water. Allows the dragon to stay out of the water for longer. So it's basically a passive skill, increases survival time. So at level 1 you have 120 seconds out of water. At level 0 you have 60 seconds out of water. But basically you can last really long time out of water with that full timer with this ability. But when it drops down to 0, you better believe it, you're going to die if you're too far inland. And finally, Spectral Impact gives the water dragon a chance to ignore armor with his attacks, to pierce them. Ignoring armor is actually a rather terrifying ability in Minecraft. And so now his attacks have a 45% chance to ignore armor, and that will kill certain enemies in the game incredibly fast, and other players. So that is basically the Ocean Dragon. They're a lightning user, water swimmer, kind of fun dragon that changed up the game. But there's one very interesting thing I have found you can do with them. Now that being that you can have enchantments while you are a dragon on your gear. So if we give our dragon Depth Strider, then he moves very fast in the ocean. Like obscenely fast. And if we happen to add a dolphin to the mix and get the speed enchantment from the dolphin, then we become too fast. I really like the Sea Dragon. I really like his design. It's just a lot of fun. But our time with the Water Dragon is done, and now it's time to move to the Forest Dragon. His fangs are also the little front fangs, and his claws are affected by the axe. And I quite like the gold claws on him. It's a fun little thing. The Forest Dragon abilities, found in the Ability tab, are the same but different, as he has the claws and teeth of dragons. He has a Forest Dragon passive, which gives him the diet of raw berries, immune to bushes of cactuses, and he likes to be on the surface, and also gives him Harm of Darkness, which is he doesn't like being in the dark, and also weakens his forest magic. His active spells is he gets Poison Breath, Spike Shooting, Inspiration, and Hunter. And these abilities are actually really good for the rounding out of his kit. Now, giving him the full mana does affect his abilities, and there's one nice little feature so he has the gold spike here, but if we give him the XPs, then it turns into the diamond spike, and so these abilities actually change in appearance also based on his level and where they've gotten to. Forest Athletes makes you faster in forest lands, Light the Dark makes it so you can spend more time in the darkness, and Cliffhanger makes it so falling isn't as bad. So looking closer at his active abilities, Poison Breath is a very cool looking move, as you shoot out this purple nasty stuff. It starts out green, then it goes all purple and nasty, and it poisons whoever hit by it. And it deals a lot of damage. This poor horse isn't dealing very good with it. His spike is very different than all the other dragon's big blah attacks, because his spike is not a big impact. It's just, oh, it's a little spike, whoop-de-doo. But he's sort of this single target specialist, I'm going to hunt you and assassinate you dragon, unlike the other ones. Now, he gets his haste and his regeneration if he's actually parked inside of a grass block, which also makes him a little peculiar. He likes being inside the tall grass. He's like a Pokemon. wants to hang out in the grass to get his regen. The single target sniping ability of Spike is it's a projectile that just goes. Inspiration, or whatever it's called. When activated, Dragon does his little meditation, and now he gives off an aura to all his buddies, which gives him haste, so he moves faster, and also he can dig faster than normal. And so if you need to get digging done or trees cut down as this dragon, he can do it very fast with this ability. I think it's the best of the passive all-around me AoE. The giving additional XP is kind of nice for leveling up as the Ocean Dragon, and you can get levels much faster. But this ability, oh, it's good. His final ability is Predator, which makes him hit harder, and ignoring his armor and little things, when he's in the long grass, he's invisible. So outgrass, ingrass, outgrass, ingrass. And yeah, it makes him hit way harder until he kills a single target. Activate Predator, stealth up in grass, wreck pig, eat its flesh raw. And that is how the forest dragon do. Terrible Z Frank impression. Ish. I like his kit, but I prefer the Ocean Dragon's kit to his, and I prefer the Fire Dragon's kit to both of them. So let's look at the Fire Dracono's Kitaruno. Now I do keep misnaming the Cave Dragon as a Fire Dragon, but he's a Fire Dragon. Come on. He's a Fire Dragon. And his kit is very similar to the others. So, he has, I'm weak to water, I like being in caves, I do well being in caves in the nether. He has his breath, he has his 2 buffs, and he has, oh, look at me, I can get a ton of mana, I can be super fast in my favorite terrain, I can become resistant to snow and rain, but poison, water, and snow is still very dangerous to me, but it can make him better with the rain because he hates rain, and he has his own passive. The Cave Dragon's passive is he lights things on freaking fire when he fights them, or they fight him. See the sheep? Wha-bam! It burns to death. I mean, also dies instantly to a hit, but it burns to death. His claws are based off picks, and he's got this lovely little club tail. Oh, I love his little club tail, so good. He can, of course, use the best breath weapon, which is freaking fire, which will light certain blocks on fire, like grass, and, well, anything that's unlucky enough to be caught in it, including these trees here. And he also has the best big projectile, which is a freaking fireball, which explodes on impact. To regen his mana, he wants to hang out on rocks and in caves, or the nether to be more precise. But he is definitely hasted and boosted up with his speed while he's in the cave, so he can gamble about and be all quick and scary in the cave. He has a very lame passives though. So, bam, more armor. Whoop-de-doo, he gets extra passive armor. And his final one is, guess what? Gives you the ability to see in lava. Now, oh, look at all these wonderful resources down here in the lava layer. Ooh, I very much want to go and see them. Oh boy. I'm going mine. Oh. I'm going mine. Oh. I'm going. Oh. So, I mean, you can see in lava, and you can sort of go, I am beast of lava. Roar. Coming out of the lava. But, I don't know. His passive, sorry, I guess his 2 breath weapons are by far the best, but his buff and his vision abilities are kind of, But yeah, his flame breath is so good. Now you may have noticed, the more bright members of the audience may have noticed, that there's a big problem with all our dragons. And it's none of them have freaking wings. How do you get wings? Well, one of the ways is to cheat, and there's a command, which is when you use these commands, you go Dragon Cave level 3, and you go true instead of false. But the proper way to get this command is by traveling to the end and speaking with Mama Dragon herself, the Ender Dragon. So, take yourself a little jaunt into the end, and the Ender Dragon will be there, and she's going to ask you a question. Now, if you type into the chat, yes, she'll give you wings. You can fly. However, I don't really know how to get out the end after that, because you can also say no, and then you can kill her and get the wings. So it's a little weird, but yeah, you can get the wings from her, and then we have an extra mod that just lets us teleport home scot-free. Now to fly, you press G, This allows you to spread your wings. Then you hold down space, and you look in the direction you want to fly. And bing bam boom, you can then fly. And the flying is rather terrible to control in third person mode, so you have to kind of go first person with it. And when you're in flight mode, you can glide with it, and so you can sort of act like you're with a Elytra, then you can fly up by holding down space. And if you're doing a little fly around, and you want to use your breath weapon, then you hold down breath weapon, and you can fly and breathe fire at the same time, although it's really hard to do a sort of sweep over, I'm going to burn down the village. Now, speaking of burning down the village, doing so can get you in a lot of trouble. If we bust down these doors and say, "Hello, I think I want to eat you today." Blah, burn. Blah, burn. Then we become an evil dragon. And an evil dragon means that dragon hunters will come along to hunt you and slay you. But, well, I mean, you've chosen the fate of being an evil dragon. You kind of deserve it at that point. And then you can fly away with your wings. Wahahaha, and they'll never catch you. Anyways, that's about it for this mod. Yeah, you can check this mod out for yourself. It's for, what was it? Java Edition 1.16.5 so far. This was recently updated, so this is a pre-update version at the time of making. The mod is made and owned by the lovely Black Aura's Art. I hope that's their name right. Although when I first read it, I read it as Black Arse Art. And it's a cool mod. It's you're actually surviving as a dragon, not some overpowered beast of destruction. Even when you get to the further levels and you want to go burn down the village, you're not the ultimate be-all end-all I can win any fight. This is not surviving 100 days as a dragon in Minecraft, and at the end you are so ridiculously overpowered you have 50 hearts and add in models that don't normally exist in the game and you're a complete cheater. This is actually survive as a dragon, do your best. This is how this dragon works, this is how this dragon works. Enjoy your life, incinerate everything, and yeah, it's a great mod. I really enjoy it. It's just recommended to me off the cuff, and it's like, I gotta check this out. And so yeah, it's actually, I think it'd be a good mod to add to even a Magic series. Playing it with Fire and Ice, playing it with Wizard, any Electroblobs, Wizardry, any of the Magic mods, play it with Vampirism, and then you can go, I'm the Vampire faction, I'm the Vampire Hunter faction, I'm the Werewolf faction. I'm a freaking dragon. Deal with it. And oh my goodness. I gotta check something. Okay then. You can be a vampire dragon, and yeah, it works. You can be a vampire dragon. What happened to that shit? Now I don't know if they're actually access to the dragon levels. I can't affect the appearance, but sorry, access to the vampire levels. Oh, this is so incredibly messy, but actually, just that they work together this much at this point, I bet you could totally integrate the two of them together. Look how many hearts I have as the vampire dragon. Oh my goodness, this is actually absurd. Ah! Water is very bad for me. Curious that the dragon powers. Okay, well that is the tankiest damn bat you've ever seen in the Minecraft Vampirism mod. Now the moment of truth. Oh no. Fireball bat! Oh my goodness, this is amazing. The cycle keys are broken though. There we go. Fear me and despair. Oh no. Oh no. Teleportation dragon? Yeah, oh wow. This dragon survival mod with vampirism actually, although it looks incredibly unstable, is incredibly cool. Sorry, yes. So yeah, you can combine this with all sorts of mods, and it's really fun and cool. I quite like it. I might even do a series about surviving as a dragon in Minecraft. Who knows what we can churn out. But yeah, so that's that. Next. Yeah, that's that. So check it out. It's for Forge. It's really cool. It's really fun. It apparently works with a bunch of other mods. And you can play as a dragon, your friend can play as dragons, you can play as dragons together, or you can play one dragon, one non-dragon, whatever you like. And just have fun with it, really. It's a cool mod. Go ahead and explore it for yourself, see what's up with it. And I, myself, will catch y'all next time while considering all the things that I can do with this, because it's kind of insane. So yeah, with that, catch y'all next time, and whatever the next video will be, might be on Requiem. That was requested. See if I can figure that one out. So yeah, until then, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.